first brand new thing. Maybe before we get there, I'll just do a little joke break, make some comments. So I didn't make any comments last time. So as I say, at some point I might post on Piazza, or at any rate, you guys could send me AMA, which is Ask Me Anything. So I can do that for a couple of minutes before jokes. Any questions about anything? If I don't feel like answering them because they're too something, I just won't. That's easy. But I'm trying to get my this one's about this. These are just things off the top of my head. I talked to you a little bit about teaching philosophy, I guess, which I could talk more about, but this is about words. I might have talked about this even in Science 1 for those of you that are from there. I don't know if it would sound familiar. Precision. When you're writing explanations or writing anything, you really want to be clear in your language. And there's a variety of examples I can give you, not just in writing, but in ways that people are really imprecise. Sometimes it drives me kind of crazy. So one silly one, maybe it's not silly, we talked about in Science 1 is the word fact. Seems like a really simple word. That's why I'm using it, because it's such a stupid, how could that possibly be ambiguous? Well, you know, the example I like to give is, 500 years ago, the earth was considered to be flat. And the question is that a fact? Can a fact change? Can a fact be wrong? And people use the word a little differently. A lot of people, probably many of you, would say, do I have any pets? No, I don't have any pets. My wife's allergic to fur. Why do you ask? So can a fact change? I would say no, fact can't change. You get new information, but a fact is a fact. So it may have been accepted as fact that the earth was flat back 500 years ago, but it wasn't. So it's not like it was a fact then, but now it's not. No, it wasn't then, and it's not now. It was thought to be a fact. People thought wrongly. That's what I would say. So we often say, I'm sure I say it, sometimes facts change. I think what we really mean is, you get new information. That's what we mean. So, facts, in my view, don't change. It can't be wrong. They're by definition. Data, that's another tough one. Can data be wrong? Well, if you have a thermometer that says it's 40 degrees in the room that we're all not sharing, the fact is that's what the thermometer says. That's your data. I would prefer to say it's bad data. The thermometer is broken, whatever you want to call it. Is the data wrong? I guess we'd call it more of just, bad data. So that's another word. Another one, kind of a different topic. Oh, AMA and pets. Thank you for that question. That was an AMA question. I'm really kind of slow on the uptake. UFO. Yeah, I like that one. Totally different topic. This is a word. So if you ever you ask someone, hey, do you believe in UFOs? Imagine a politician that says they believe in UFOs. That's not so good, right? You're like, dude believes in UFOs. Well, technically, I don't have a problem with anyone who believes in UFOs. I think the question, do you believe in UFOs, is kind of a weird, stupid question. Because UFOs means unidentified flying object. Almost everybody has seen something in the sky at some point. They're like, what the heck is that? Now, usually even you looking at it can kind of figure it out. Sometimes you can't. Probably somebody could, but there are ones that, have been photographed and like nobody can figure them out. Well, that's really, really unidentified, whatever you want to call that. But these days, the last decade or two, concept of UFO has been made to be synonymous with aliens. Well, it's not. UFO is an unidentified, it's something in the sky you see, you don't know what it is. Unidentified. So they actually changed, they have a new acronym now, which is, I forget what it is. It's like UAP or something. Unidentified aerial phenomenon, I think. This is over the summer, this past summer. I couldn't believe they had to come up with something because everyone thinks UFO means alien. Alien is an alien. I mean, what else is the UFO? Until you know what it is, it could be anything. It could just be some, bird that you just didn't recognize or whatever. Now, a lot of pilots see them. They're presumably looking up high, so they really have a view looking up high, like, wow, there's nothing looking like that's natural that could possibly, or man-made, and that's cool. People say, well, why do pilots always see it? It's because they're, well, weird or whatever. No, it's because they spend thousands of times in the more hours in the air than we do, presumably. I guess it could get a little there, especially fighter pilots. Let's see. Okay, two more words real quick. Infected. I don't know if anyone knows what infected means anymore. An asymptomatic. You get COVID. What does that even mean? Get COVID. If you have it in you and you test positive for it, back in the day, people would probably have all kinds of things. If you're asymptomatic to something, it means you don't show anything, so you don't know how many times do you think you might have had a cold in you that you showed no symptoms, so you didn't have it. Well, probably had it with you. If you had like a family member who had it, you probably got it in you and you just didn't show symptoms. You just got rid of it. You're immune to it, but you probably shed it at some point. We used to call that being a carrier. I think being asymptomatic is the same thing as being called a carrier. It sounds like completely different things, but I think they're actually exactly the same thing. Now we call it being asymptomatic. So infected, I think technically means you're showing symptoms. So if you have it in you and you're shedding, are you infected? I don't know. These are kind of semantics. And you guys probably know more than me. I think infected just means having the virus. Yeah, but what does having it mean? Does that mean just shedding it? So if you're shedding it and you show no symptoms, I think infected means, it's like the word disease. That means you're showing symptoms. I think having it in you and shedding it would be called being a carrier. I don't think that's called being infected. But yeah, I don't even know if doctors all would agree on that, with that. It's in your body. Disease is a symptomatic formation of the affected. I trust you guys know more than me on this. If anything, the virus has you. Ooh, that's philosophical. Okay, I'll do one more. One of my favorite ones, racism or racist. Do you ever know what anyone means when they say someone is racist or that's a racist comment? It can mean all kinds of things. People say that all the time, and they rarely, if ever, define what they mean. And they can mean a huge range of things, from, those people should be shot to, I don't know, those people, I can't think of anything marvelous, wear funny clothes. I don't know. It could be a huge range of, so is he racist or not? Well, what you're really debating is what your two definitions of the word racist. So I think it's pretty clear cut. Just discrimination based on class. It can mean a lot of different things. So if I don't like the clothes certain people wear, am I racist? Oh, yeah, you could have a low standard for any stereotyping at all. Well, I'll give you a fact. Black people do poorer on IQ tests than white people. Is that racist? That's a fact. Is it racist to say it? I don't know. Asians do better than white people on IQ tests. That's a fact. Now you can make judgments from that. Does that mean Asians are smarter than white are smarter than black? I don't know. Is that racist to even ask that question? I don't think it's racist, but that's just a historical fact for however many decades, 6 decades. That's been a historical fact. You could get into all kinds of reasons for that. Certainly. Am I serious? Yeah, it is a fact that Asians do better than white people on IQ tests, and white people do better than black people. That is a fact. What you draw from that, you can get into all kinds of reasons for that. It's just totally environment. It's nothing to do with genetics at all. It has to do with genetics, etc. You get into a long debate. But the fact is, I can't see how you call that that a fact, just saying that fact. So it is gray, I think, what's racist and what's not. Racism is not a cause. I said that. This isn't the most appropriate topic. Okay, we'll move on. Oh, jokes. Let's do jokes. I'm just saying word use. People often are imprecise in their word use. That's my thing. And often you have long conversations and go back to any other words, and you realize you don't really know what the other person's even talking about. And that could be chemistry words as well, which we will talk about and have talked about. Okay, let's do. Okay, let's stick to that one. Okay, here's one. I went to a bookstore and asked the saleswoman, "Where's the self-help section?" She said if she told me, it would defeat the purpose. Let's see. An old man was in his car on his way home and he gets a call from his wife on the cell phone. She says, honey, be very careful. The news just reported that there's a crazy person driving in the wrong direction on the highway. He says, one, there's hundreds. Let's see. Okay, here's a good one. Maybe we'll just do this as the last one. A truck driver has a load of penguins he's delivering to the zoo, but he needs to have a few drinks instead, I should say. He feels like having a few drinks instead. So he parks his truck and he sees a guy in the parking lot and he says, hey, buddy, I'll give you $50 if you take these penguins to the zoo. Guy agrees, and the truck driver hands him the money and he gives him the keys and he ducks into the nearest bar. About 2 hours later, he's coming out of the bar and he sees the stranger coming back up the road with the penguins still in. Waves him down and says, hey, I gave you $50. You're supposed to take the penguins to the zoo. Guy says, yeah, I did, but I had some money left over. Now we're going bowling. Racism overall is horrible. Yes, I think we can agree with that. I like when Obama was talking about abortion and he said, well, we could agree on one thing. We all want fewer abortions. Okay, amino acid synthesis. Just have different ways of getting there. So this is called the Gabriel synthesis. And this synthesis, at the end, we're making an amino acid. I'm circling here. And it is racemic. So we're going to do one where we get a racemic synthesis of amino acids and another where we get a homochiral or an antioselective synthesis.